Tanya, have you been on a podcast before or no?
I was on, someone interviewed me for their YouTube channel, but
Oh,
not for a podcast. So this might be my first time.
wow. What an honor. So I do a lot of wacky shit on my podcast, and today I pulled someone from my circle, my little private community, to help me answer questions. I love our energy. I think the banter will be good, and I love doing things kind of instinctively before our left brain kicks in and logic and all that. So thank you for joining me.
I'm super excited to be here. You're one of my favorite influencers on the internet. If you want to do wacky shit, I'm the girl you call. So
Yes. That's on
that's
her
right.
dating. That's on your dating profile.
You don't want to know what's on my dating profile.
If you want to do wacky shit, just keep. um I'm also making pour over coffee at the same time, so I'm multitasking. um one of my nectars in life, afternoon, so around 2 o'clock, post workout, I cut my day in half. I go to the gym, usually take the motorcycle, so I'm hitting some kind of flow state, and then an afternoon, like really high quality pour over coffee with my garage door open, and then of course meaningful conversation, which we are having right now or will have.
I, I love that. I wish I could say I was as well balanced, but I'm really just held together by good lighting, Wellbutrin, and really strong coffee.
uh, your lighting is actually poor. No, I'm just kidding. What oh, you have coffee too?
You're a liar, John. This lighting is not poor.
No, the lighting is legit, but you are pixelated. But I think it's the software that we're using. I don't think it's
Yeah,
your.
I
Oh,
have
now you're.
coffee too.
Um. So I on your email is
Mhm.
under your signature is your Instagram, and
Yes.
so I wanted to do a little digging, and so I clicked on her Instagram. She has one post, and the
Mhm.
post is of you. I believe it's you eating fire, doing something with fire.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
What is that?
correct.
What do you do with fire? Are you a fire dancer? What do you do?
I am. I am a professional fire dancer. So by day, I am
Wow.
a researcher and a business strategist. I advise C-suite level execs on how to get the results they want out of their company in a myriad of different ways. But at night, I breathe fire. Yeah, I'm a professional fire dancer.
That's amazing. That's like some superhero shit. Like you work at the Daily Planet during the day, and then it's like, boom, put on the cape, and then you're dancing with. What is dancing with fire? What exactly is that?
So,
It's not
what
eating
I
fire.
do?
Do you put the fire in your mouth?
Oh, I put the fire in my mouth. I
Oh
breathe the
shit.
fire, but I have these enormous, like beautiful fire fans. Um, how did I end up doing it? What is it? All of the above. Um, what is it? So, people have a myriad of different props. They'll call it like flow arts or anything. I was not prepared to talk about this today. That's so funny.
I
Um,
love it. That's why I'm doing it.
they're dipped in a type of accelerant, and then we light them on fire and dance and flow with them. How I found it, so I have a past life as a professional dancer. That's a little bit of what brought me out here to
Wow. Wait,
Los
what kind of
Angeles.
dancing?
Mostly industry stuff. So hip hop, street jazz, yeah,
Oh,
anything you'd see in like a
nice.
music video.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
classically trained in ballet and contemporary. I've been a little all over the map, but
Wow.
I kind of I kind of had that dream die, and it was really hard. I really was not expecting to have this day. It was really heartbreaking. I was in the car, had a bad dance class, and I was like devastated. And I just kind of knew I was like, this is over. I'm tired. I don't love the thing I love anymore, and
Hmm.
that's so heartbreaking. It's like knowing a relationship is over.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I have to let this go. I'm ready to let this go.
Wait, hold
Um,
on. So wait, did you know that it was over because of a knowing, or was it because what made you feel like it was over? Was it like a technical thing, an accident, or what?
no, thank God, not a technical thing. I just to keep going down the path. I mean, if I'm being really honest, I came out here. I met all of the choreographers I wanted to meet. I danced with everyone I wanted to dance with, and what I kind of saw at the top of this industry is that outside of their professional, like these are some of the best of the best in the
Right.
industry. And I look at them and I'm like, man, if I had what you had naturally, I wouldn't want anything else in life. That's kind of how it feels.
Mm,
And then I looked at their lives kind of surrounding it, and I didn't want what they had. And so once I had that realization, it's really hard to keep showing up in a
right.
strenuous, like, or rigorous rather way, to toil for something that you don't really want the end results of. So I just knew one day it was over, and I don't know, I was like praying and crying to the universe. I just don't know who I am or who I would be without dance. I've been doing this since I could walk. Um, I really, the real prayer I prayed was, why would you give me just enough talent to be noticed, but not enough
Oh,
to just make it?
Tanya, wait, hold on. That resonates with me so much. I used to be a screenwriter,
I
and
didn't. I just learned that about you.
yeah, I was a screenwriter before I was a therapist for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Went to film school and all that. And it's the same shit where it's like, I felt the universe gave me enough talent to, get representation, to get into Hollywood or to have opportunities, sit in pitch meetings and all that. Um, but not enough to actually quote unquote make it or turn it
Yeah.
into a career. Uh, and then divorce came, and then I evaluated my life and went back to grad school to become a therapist. But I've never heard it in that way where it's like given me enough talent. It's almost like it's a lot of teasing, a lot of like
Mm-hmm.
you're talented, you have enough, people will notice, but it's really not enough to get you to the top. But then one could argue, well, is it that, or did you not spend enough time on your craft?
So I'll tell you what happened next. So I sat in the car, I cried, and I let it go, and I was like, all right. I think at this point in my life, at that age, my identity had been deconstructed so many times, um, like without my own consent, that I knew that if I did it again, I would be rebuilt from the pieces, so that I was safe to fall apart. So I was like, all right, whatever, come what may, whatever happens next. And I was talking to a good girlfriend, and she was like, well, what do you love the most about dancing? I was like, frankly, like I love performing. I
Hmm.
love dazzling people. I am an innate storyteller, and I love getting made up. I love putting on costumes, and I'm missing
Mm,
all of that right now. Right now
right.
it's just rehearsal, rehearsal, video rehearsal, like and class, and just training, 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 and I'm missing what I love about this. So she was like, well, why wouldn't you just do something where you got to do your favorite parts of it? And I was like, well, like what? She's like, what about like community theater? And I instantly wanted to fling myself off of a bridge. And I was like, how far have I fallen? 2 weeks later, I saw this girl on the internet dancing with fire fans. I'd never seen anything like this before in my whole life. I
Mm,
didn't know this
mm,
existed. And what stopped me in my tracks is that she moved like me, and I was like, oh my god. And so no one can comfort me now. The statute of limitations is up, but I was a little whole teenage years, and I just couldn't believe that I had never seen that two of my great loves would come together like this. And
wow.
yeah, I moved into fire dancing, and I was like, I was burned for my last love. So I was very clear to all my friends who are really, what is the word? Enterprising. My girlfriends are enterprising. And they were like, what are we going to charge for this? Where are you performing? How are we going to do this? And I was like,
Mm,
no, 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 no. This is just for the love of movement, just for the love of the craft. And I actually turned it into a business and started performing just because I wanted to dance to my own music. And the place that I was practicing was kind of doing just like a soundscape that was not resonant with me. And that was it. And here's the real bitch about it. The second I got those fans, I put them around my hand, and I lit them on fire, and it roars. It roars when it's next to your ear.
mm,
Um, I was like, one, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And two, John, I have never picked up anything so quickly, or so effortlessly as understanding and performing with fire. Like I just understand it. I feel in and out and within. Like it is really my full element. I mean, and honestly, that kind of pissed me off because I was like, fuck, this is really what it feels like to be in your lane, isn't it? And I wish
Mhm.
someone told me that it can feel like this whole time. So is that everything you need to know about fire dance?
Yeah. So, well, let me ask you this, because these are all lies unless we have it on video. Do you have it on video, or no? You perform live, but you don't really record it. You don't have it. Um,
That is a great question. I do have a reel, and then I have more footage for a better reel. Things have kind of slowed down in 2023, so
mhm.
I am what would be considered like a luxury item. I perform mostly for private events, and so
Tanya, we got, we
and
got. I'm
large
gonna make a
private
T-shirt
parties.
that says "I am a luxury item." That's such a
I'm a
great
luxury item.
T-shirt. Yes, yes.
We could put it on a shirt, but I'm pretty sure people know when they look at me.
Oh
um,
shit!
so
I'll have what she's
it's
having. Can you send me the video email, because I want to see, because you've told me about this. It's so fascinating. I want to see you. I want to see you dance. See your dancing.
okay. I
Um,
will. I will.
yeah, I
You're
wasn't.
making me blush. I'm
I've
embarrassed.
done nothing with fire, but with concrete and cardboard in the '80s when breakdancing was in the first time. Did a lot of spinning on my back and head, so I get the dancing
You are a
piece.
break dancer.
Yeah,
No shit.
yeah, yeah. In
No
the '80s,
shit. I didn't know that.
it was some of the happiest times of my life. I was part of a little crew, and I would spend hours practicing moves, lose track of eating, lose track of time, hitting flow states, and then that all rolled into skating. And I wanted to be Christian Hosoi, who was kind of the rock star skater back in the day. This is before your time, but anyway.
I'm
All right,
laughing
let's
because
get.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think subconsciously it's kind of why I have long curly hair now. He
hmm
was like the rock star. I think it was half Asian too. So yeah, Hosoi. So he was like the rock star skater of my time, and I wanted to be him. Anyway, here are some questions. We're going to tackle some questions because, of course, we want to do our best to help. And I like
I'm
that
ready.
I will bring, or I will try to bring, kind of the clinical angle, and then Tanya is going to bring what besides your solid
The
self.
the the unhinging.
Mm.
Everything I'm allowed to say, but not things you're not allowed to say as a therapist, as a licensed therapist. I have
Oh,
no
I
license
love it.
to do what I
Yeah, so
want.
you're so I'm the therapist, and you're like what the therapist really wanted to say but couldn't, because he's afraid that he. I'm actually not afraid about losing my license. I could give two shits, but anyway. Um, okay, what about this one? How do I cope with a
Okay.
breakup with someone who was my best friend and I loved so deeply? This is kind of a general question. Um, I'm assuming you've been through some breakups.
What? Me?
Yes.
Never. My father's
Never.
listening. I'm kidding. Yeah, of course I've been through some breakups.
How do you cope
Um,
with breakups?
oh, I read this on a fortune cookie once.
Ooh.
I'm not kidding. But the best cure for grief is motion. And that's particularly resonant
Wait
for
a
me
minute.
because
That's a
it
great. Wait, is motion?
is motion.
Yes. So I'm shocked that you read that on the fortune cookie, because usually fortune cookies are really like lame
That's,
and generic, and but
I get good ones.
that's a great one. I agree with that. I think so describe what that means to you, motion.
So the reason it was particularly resonant for me, I was like, oh yeah, no, I dance, but my love in my heart is the cruise, John. Um,
The
I just,
cruise?
I the cruise. I just want to feel wind in my hair. I'm like a happy golden retriever with his face outside the car, like all the time. So
Yes,
for
yes.
me, yeah,
But not
and
literally on
I
a
long.
cruise. I don't see you literally on a cruise unless you are
No,
performing
I don't.
fire. No, no.
I don't like cruise
Okay, just
ships.
want to make
That's
sure when you say
that's
cruise, you're not talking about working on a cruise ship or being on a cruise ship.
no,
You're talk
no. I
you're
mean,
talking about like cruise
like
control.
the
You're talking
cruise.
about yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah,
Like the
got
cruise.
it.
So for me, it's God, walking, running, biking,
Mm,
skating.
mm-hmm.
Both my skateboards and my surfboards are longboards. Like I just want a long, smooth ride.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, train rides, airplanes, all of that. The best cure for grief is motion, but then also it's just, I think it really speaks to not being stagnant in one's heart. I I had
Yes.
I had a particularly painful thing, shocking and painful thing happen, and it took me some time to move through it. But the feeling that I had in my heart is so interesting. This is also before I started antidepressants, but it felt like, have you ever been fishing? You know, the little metal sinker
Yep.
that you tie to the line that pulls it
The
down?
bait, not the
It felt
bait,
like
but the
just
shiny thing.
this, yeah, the sinker, the thing that pulls it to the
Oh, okay.
bottom.
Got it.
It
Got
felt
it.
like that was just on my heart and I couldn't shake it. This little weight, not a big one, a little one
Mm-hmm.
for a long
Mm-hmm.
time. And the words that came to me, like when I was asking for help from like my friends, was like, I think I need to floss my heart. It needs to be flossed and flushed.
Mm.
So, to our dear friend who's dealing with a breakup with their best friend, some of the practicals right out of the way, is give it space. Give it space. You can actually start the healing process if you're like up each other's assholes.
Mm-hmm. Cut
I
the
say to a
cord.
few of my mentees, yeah, I have some two bottom lines I tell my mentees, which is put that phone down, put
Mm.
the phone down,
Mm-hmm.
leave that boy alone, leave him alone.
I say out of your house, out of your head.
Yeah, same. Put the phone down. And I also anything that increases your vitality, and that's really specific to whoever you are. That increases your like my Tanya power is what I like to think of
Mm.
it as. Anything that makes me
Mm-hmm.
like over 1,500%. Those are the things I'll gravitate to. Especially if this is someone who's your best friend and not just a lover. They're going to be a big part of your life. And the primary loss is the relationship. Then there's the ancillary losses, the person who got your oil changed for you or fucking whatever, remembered which shoe size you wear or something. Those
Mm.
are all real examples, by the way. John, these millennial men are not doing super hot out here. One of my girlfriends told me that her boyfriend called her from the shoe store and asked him like what shoe size he wore in Converse. She was like,
Well, but I've been
"Whoa,
hearing that men are not men, women are heterosexual women are dating younger because yes, millennial men may not know your shoe size, but they actually have capacity and are really good
for
at
joy,
holding sports. What's that?
for joy, they're not tired."
No, their EQ is supposedly higher and more with the times than say someone my age.
That's really interesting. That's
Do you
really
believe that's
interesting. So
true?
I'm
I mean, it kind of
I
I feel like it's true.
um
Are you on dating apps? Are you swiping?
no, I don't. I catch all my men in the wild.
Oh, where? In the woods? Where exactly is the
Uh,
wild? The mall?
for me, no, yeah, honestly, sometimes it's the supermarket. Sometimes it's when I walk out of my house. I've had two men stop me on my block.
Mm. Well, you're
Um,
going old school. You want to crash carts and shit at the market and meet people at the park and on the beach while you're
yeah,
reading a book. I love it. I
yeah,
love it.
yeah. I'm an old
That is
school
very
gal. I'm an
rare.
old school gal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let
Um,
me ask you this: do you, because you're very extroverted and charismatic, do you look, if you saw someone that you were attracted to, would you actually go up to that person, or do you play the whole if he doesn't come up to me, I'm not gonna pursue it?
I turn on what I think is like this little light. I think
The
usually men just need
the
a
the Tanya
green light
power,
to
the
like
Tanya
approach.
superpower thing you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah. It
when you
just
say
takes like a
light, you're talking
really,
about literally a fire. You just put your torch on fire and start dancing and shit.
yeah, that's how they know where to land. No, no, I mean, I don't know if I want to be noticed, if I want someone to come over to me, I really do think like it just takes direct, sustained eye contact, not like a fucking creeper, but like
Hmm.
bright eye contact and like a warm smile. It will usually do it. Um, yeah,
If it
yeah.
doesn't, would you go up to him?
Depends on what mood I'm in, depends what I want,
Mm. Mm.
and depends, yeah, yeah. And it depends on the read I get on this person. If he's like the
Right.
hot guy in
Wow.
the room, no, I won't, because I'm a smart bitch. I'm a good strategist.
Oh,
I
why?
won't go
Wait,
up to
why
him.
not? Why not the hot guy? Because what does that mean? That then it means
So
is he lacking in some
here's
other
here's
areas, or
the
everyone wants him, or what?
no. Here's the dirty secret of like hot men. People treat them actually differently, like in real life, all the time. So if you want to stop them, like in their tracks or arrest them, you have to treat them like everybody else in the room. Like there's
Can
no
we say
different.
the
So
same about women as well? I mean, if you're aesthetically attractive in this world, you have been getting a
oh
lot of
yeah,
attention, right? So it's not just men.
yeah.
Pretty
No, I'll
people,
tell you that for a
attractive
fact.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Yep, 100%. So I would probably be really, really disarming
Mm.
and conversational. And then my number one flex right now, I think I told you this in one of the groups. I was like, my new flex, my new thing is I just leave. As soon as you think this is
Oh
going well, I'm like, okay,
God.
bye.
And how is that working
And
for you? Just leaving? So you
it
basically
is
you do a cartwheel and
shockingly
then you bounce.
effective. Yeah,
Is it
no, I'm like,
effective?
oh, that's so nice, so fun. It is scarily effective, John. It is. The
Mm.
results have been like crazy, like super scary, crazy, and I'm like, holy shit. The
Well,
text messages I'm receiving, I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy, that's wild. So, ladies, don't play yourself. Don't play yourself.
when I was single, when I would leave a room, no one would even know that I was gone. So it did not work for me. But hey, if it works for you, that's amazing.
It's not
Here,
leaving a room; it's exiting a conversation.
oh, what do you
I
mean
bet
exiting
people
conversation?
noticed when you left a room, John. But like when I'm in so here's a great example. So I was recently in the desert for my birthday. I
Hmm.
went I went sandboarding at the dunes. So already my personal power is I'm having like the Tanya time of my life. I went sandboarding. I had a rack of ribs. I'm the happiest girl on the freaking planet. So I'm at this like dusty, dirty cowboy bar in the middle of the desert.
Wait,
Here
hold
to
on, stop,
listen
stop,
to
stop,
this
real
like
quick. Can I
amazing.
just say, can I just say something real quick? This is a total compliment. Fire dancing, and now you're talking about sandboarding. You do some rad shit. I don't even know if it's true, but if it's true, those should be profile pics on. Well, you're not swiping, but um, sandboarding. I've
Well,
never met anyone who sandboards. That's amazing.
Well, so I would, well, one, I don't sandboard. I actually ended up at so no, one, this is true. Two, there is photo evidence. Please
Okay.
do not call bullshit on me on these internet streets. Three, the first time I went out to the dunes, it was for a fire photo shoot, and it was a bust because there were sandstorms that day and we could barely get out of the car. But I looked at it and I was like, I bet I could surf on that. So then I did some Googling and I was like, have people done that before? And so that's what I did for my birthday. So that's how that happened. Anyway, so the good gospel of just leave. I'm in this bar. I'm sitting there listening to hear this guy sing. I'm reading my book and drinking a cup of tea. All my friends left earlier. I just get this one night to myself. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. This dude sits down next to me, and I can feel him looking at me. And like I'm from New York, and I'm trying to like deprogram my first response, which is just like what what
Mm.
what do you need?
Yeah. The
They have
fuck you
something in
looking
my
at?
face.
The fuck you
Can I
looking
help
at?
you?
Yeah.
Do you need the time? And he is just this super like kind, charming. I can't even. This is so ridiculous. He's an Australian pilot
Mm.
who
Oh
flew into
wow.
Los Angeles that day, and
Hot.
and similarly came to the same bar for ribs. Because did you know this? I didn't know this. They don't do ribs in Australia, and I was like, wow, that's terrible. I'm so sorry for you. That's
Wait, no,
awful.
why? Wait, why don't they do
So
ribs in Australia? Hold on, why?
it's it's an American thing. So he's like, when
Oh.
I come, so when I fly to the US, I like get ribs, and I was like, yeah, I love that. So the universe has laid this very serious Tanya thirst, and we're chatting. It's going well. He's like laughing at me. I don't think he knows what to do. Several times he was like, I've never seen anyone like just like sit at a bar and read before. And I was like, that's so crazy. Because when I used to drink, this is like how I would self-care. I would just like sit at the bar and just
Mm.
glasses of wine and my book and be the happiest clam ever. It was going really well. And it was just like, I'm gonna go. So I just got up and left. I had given him some good pointers on like some really, really unique and cool shit to see out in the desert that like you wouldn't find on a typical map or an article. And I was like, you want to check these places out? I was like, here are the literal coordinates. I like wrote it in his phone. And I was like, you seem pretty cool though. Like I'll give you my number and whatever next time you're back. Maybe we'll hang, maybe we won't. And my expectation is this. If you meet a random person in a bar, like I'm never going to talk to you again, ever, literally. I didn't expect to hear from him ever. I really hope he doesn't listen to this podcast because I'm totally outing him. But the next morning I wake up, I'm like turning down the Airbnb, I'm leaving and whatnot. I got text message 8 a.m. in the morning that was like, hey, how are you? Like everything. He's like, you left at the perfect time last night. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I didn't answer because I was running around doing things. And now I gotta like go get a coffee. And I was like going to take the long scenic drive back. I was going to go through the mountains before I got back to LA. And I'm just trying to live my life and have a good time. I don't even know if your name is Jonathan, but I'm like, Jonathan. This man texted me again and was like, hey, are you still here? Are you still in the area? Do you just want to come with me? Do you want to like come with me right now? And like run away to all these sites for the day. And I was like, that's crazy. But nothing is crazier than the fact that he sent me a playlist. And if you're an old school soul, that is the new school mixtape. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Don't do that.
Did the playlist hit or did it miss?
No, I already had a prescribed playlist for the day. So I didn't.
You overrode his playlist. But the gesture of the playlist meant something. So how did that go? How did the date go?
So we didn't know. We didn't end up going on the date, but we're still in touch. Like I'm going to see him the next time he's out here. My point is that like the expectation for something like that is that like you will never talk again. But if you leave at the peak moment, I have this sweet, sweet dude in my phone who's like, how are you? How's your holidays? Here's my schedule. Volunteering. Like, since when do men volunteer more information or details about their life? So we battle tested it. Just leave.
You froze. I don't know if it's your side or my side, but you froze. Can you repeat the last sentence?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What was the last thing you heard?
You have this sweet man in your phone.
Oh, this sweet man in my phone, sending me text messages, more music, his whole schedule, letting me know when he's going to be back. And I really think it was that I made myself pretty scarce at a key moment. So yeah, in a way, it's like almost, yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I think there's science behind this. You're talking about attracting instead of chasing. You're talking about not being lined with desperation. You're talking about being confident in self and not grabbing, right? And of course, that keeps the magnets powerful. It's usually when you try to. I always love the comparison on like how do you feed pigeons? Like when you try to feed a pigeon, you can't chase after the pigeon. They'll run with food, right? So just holding the food in your hand and allowing the pigeons to come to you, and suddenly there's 50 pigeons around you. That's kind of what you're talking about. A little bit.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Lean back.
Yes.
Lean back. Lean all the way back and trust.
Not so back that you kind of like fall out of your chair, but lean back far enough where you're not lined with desperation and you have a solid sense of self. Not to the point where, you lose your grounding. Because I also believe that if you want something, you should go after it. You should have the conversation. You should, do what's difficult instead of quote unquote playing games. But I think there's a fine line. I think you're not talking about playing games. You're more talking about state. Yeah.
None of this is a game. And I respond honestly and kindly. I'm always kind.
Yeah.
But firm. Yeah.
Question 2. You ready for question 2? And this kind of lines up with what we're talking about. He's asking the right questions. He's cute, but not as attractive as the one that I'm really into. And so this person is asking, should I pursue it? Should I continue to get him know him and see if the chemistry starts building, or should I just move on? So let me ask you this: can chemistry be built, or do you feel like the instant chemistry is
I
everything? Like,
think
how much weight do you put on that?
I think companionship can be built. I don't think
Mm.
chemistry can be built because when you feel it with someone immediately, there's no replication for that. There's no faking.
Okay, wait, hold
And
on,
we're
Tanya.
talking
Tanya, hold
about
on, hold
more
on,
than
hold on, hold on. How do you know? Because Tanya is East Coast and I'm West Coast, I have to constantly interrupt her. How do you know if that chemistry is coming from a healthy place? Because I have discovered
great
that
question.
some of the chemistry that I've had with women that were off the charts turned out later to be some kind of trauma bonding, or some kind of
Hmm. Hmm.
coming from kind of a dysfunctional place. I love you, get away. The intermittent love, which reminds us of young love, right? So there's that kind
Yeah.
of like friction and chase happening underneath. It wasn't just
I think
about pretty eyes.
no, that's exactly. I was gonna say exactly that. This is more than just like a physical attraction. Because I mean, look, I live in Los Angeles. I see plenty of pretty people all the time, and it's not what like hooks like that feeling in my body. And a lot of these like really really pretty people feel like cardboard to me. But it
Mm.
really is about something more. So what I'm looking for, like the delineation between healthy and unhealthy. Um, I'm a big believer in the slow boil,
Mm-hmm.
but for
The
every
slow
slow
burn.
boil, you need a little bit of, yeah, you need a little bit of heat. For me, it feels effervescent, bubbly.
Hey, I just want to say,
Yeah.
since you fuck with fire, let's use the word burn, because when you say slow boil, it just
Okay.
sounds like
Slow
my
burn.
grandma's making soup, and you're talking about the slow burn. Got it?
The slow burn.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. But in order to have that, you need it. There has to be a spark. There has to be a little heat. And it
yeah.
can happen. It can happen in different ways or at different stages in the relationship. Um, there was a guy that totally caught me early on in the COVID years, and I had known him prior, and we had spent some time together, and I wasn't expecting this at all. So I'd already known him. He was already on my phone. We were he was like a service provider. He had done some things for me that like I needed done, and I wanted to watch him fix something for me one day. And so we're sitting, we're talking, we're shooting the shit. I was like not paying attention. I was like texting, and then he literally, I'm not even kidding, looked at me and was like, "Stand back. There may be sparks." And I was like, I in that moment, I was like, is he hot? Has he been hot this whole time? Like, am I just getting my period, or like, have I been blind and a complete moron? And we ended up seeing each other for a little while, but I think that's like, but it was the heat. It was the heat. I think before
Wait,
that,
so
he'd never really,
why
he would have,
didn't that last? How did that fizzle?
oh,
Why did it not work out if there was heat?
yeah, honestly, this one is sad. This one broke my heart. I wish him well. I'm such a good guy. And so when I had met him, I was in deep grief, in deep grief. Like I was
Hmm.
not emotionally
Ready?
prepared for
Right,
anything,
right.
but I was like, we totally have a vibe. We have I like this. This seems easy. Like we have an easy connection, which is nice. So like why don't you come over one day and like we just hang out and kick it on the couch, and like let's let this be easy at a time when the world is so, is separate a word? Yeah, like separated and scary. Like why can't this just be easy? And like I was using the word um casual, and I have to
Mm.
stop using that word now because I think men, when they meet me right away, my energy does not read as casual. So when I say the word casual to them, what they're feeling in their bodies is like, that bitch is a liar. That is not casual.
Mm.
So I have to switch my language to non-committal, and be a little bit more specific. But yeah, I was in deep grief, and then on what would have been our second date, his dad passed away. So right away, I'm not even kidding. There was no way that this was going to be a like a just an easy breezy in between big loves type thing. Like I was
Mm.
always going to be that girl you were talking to when your dad died. And it does something to men, I think, to lose their father. There's a lot
Yeah.
of questions about masculinity, especially if this was like a strained or tenuous relationship in any way. And so that's just like not a cocktail for like fun and sexy. So it didn't really work out.
Right. The
That made me
timing.
sad.
The timing of where
Yeah.
people were. Do you
Yeah.
think, I almost feel like the impact that fathers have on daughters is actually more, and I mean, I guess this is a generalization, than the impact that
Hmm.
dads have on their boys?
So interesting. So I think
When
the
it comes to
impact is
like
different.
relationships, not so much like, um, because I feel like that important to daughter father. I mean, this is the whole daddy issues thing, right? Like, and I'm talking
Hmm.
about just when it comes to relationships. I'm not talking about in general. But
Hmm.
it's, I don't know. I grew up, and I think I worked with a lot of teenagers and a lot of
Hmm.
boys and girls who didn't have dads, right? So dad wasn't there either emotionally or physically, and so I was seeing the result of that, and especially for women, they struggled more with
Hmm.
sense of self, boundaries, promiscuity, all this other stuff. I wonder
Hmm.
how much of that came from not having dad around growing up.
Hmm.
Did you have a healthy dad, or a good relationship with your dad, or
Yeah,
no?
I got my
Mm.
dad around. I am the daughter of an engineer and a Scorpio. So if anyone is listening whose father is an engineer or a Scorpio, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. I he I am the firstborn daughter in a Greek family, so I think that there might have been some hope that I was going to be a dude, and then I came out and they were like, "Fuck it," or is it like a boy anyway? I know how to whittle arrows. I know how to hawk loogies.
Mm.
My dad really was not tender with me. I knocked my first tooth out flipping over the front handles off my bike, like racing down a hill with my dad. And I stood up. In so many ways, we felt like pals. I like stood up and I was
Yeah,
like,
well, this is what I'm
"Ah!"
talking about.
And
The
then there's like,
closest you had with your dad. And by the way, I don't think I've heard those two word hawk loogies since the '80s. So thank you for bringing that back a little bit. Holy shit!
yeah. And I have such a core memory. I was little, I was in elementary school. I was sitting on the stoop with my dad, and it was like kind of time of year where things transition from summer to fall. And we were like
Hmm.
literally like just
That's
on the
oh
sidewalk.
man. Wait, how old were you? Was this last year? How old were you?
I was little. I was a little girl. I was like maybe six
Yes.
or seven. Um,
So there's something
and my
adorable about that. There's something adorable. Um, I mean, not you today, but there's something adorable about a 6-year-old girl on the porch or on this, with a stoop with her dad and they're hawking
Mhm.
loogies. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think
yeah.
there's something really cute about that, and
Mhm.
it's like
He
heartwarming.
taught
It
me how
gives
to
me a
surf. Yeah,
yeah.
the first car I ever drove was his F-150. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
we had a really tight relationship. However, one of the patterns I've seen mirrored in my relationship with my father is that like what it really felt like we had all of these stolen moments together for a myriad of reasons. And so something that I had then mirrored in my romantic life as an
What do you
adult
mean
was that
stolen moments?
I
What do you mean by that?
they felt like he and I had kind of escaped from whatever was going
Oh,
on during the day. And we had these like little vignettes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like this memory sitting on the stoop. And I remember him looking at me and he's like, ah, this is great. He's like, my daughter's going to be at my funeral and be like, my dad taught me how to stay.
Mm.
And yeah, as I got older, then I had this bizarre pattern. It's so strange. What a weird pattern where I would have these friends, these guy friends, and I would be like, oh my God, no, we're pals. We're homies. One of my coaches was like, you need to quit it with that homie shit. She was like, these men, I'm clear, would like murder someone for your hand in marriage. And I was like, no, we're friends. And it would go on for years and then eventually turn bitter. And we would have this like secret romance. We were like secret lovers, as opposed to what I wanted, which was like easy. happy, just regular dating. I had
Hmm.
created these really complex, layered, challenging dynamics that didn't need to be there. So I
Let
do
me let
see
me ask
that, but
let me ask you this because I'm a therapist. How did your relationship with your dad? And from what I'm hearing, it was actually a great one, which is rare. Um, how did that? How did that? How does that impact your relationship today with men, or the kind of men you seek, or has it at all?
um, oh man,
Maybe
well,
it's in a positive way.
I
Maybe it's
mean,
not in a negative way. You know?
yeah, I will say this is kind of difficult. I live in LA again, just the land of the skinny jeans. Um, and my dad can fix anything, fix anything.
Mm,
It's part of his genius as an engineer. He's one of those rare people who I think found a career and calling that fits his gifting. I swear, my dad looks at machines and it's like they come apart for him
right.
in his brain. He
Right, right.
understands
I can't
mechanics.
I can't put together an IKEA chair, but um, I could write a
I'm
book.
actually great at that. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So is
yeah.
that
So
one of
it
the
fits
things
your
that you look
gifting.
for? Men who can fix things?
I don't look for it, but when I find it, I'm like, damn,
Mm,
that is a man. I also
right.
I something I've had to work on is like to try and not out masculine my partners and like let everyone has different gifts. But yeah,
Yeah.
my dad is a true guy's guy. But he just is so capable. And so sturdy. um that it's really I don't know, this like kind of flaky thing, and it's a lot of I don't know, it feels like a city thing to me.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
particular
That's yeah.
culture
Sure.
note,
Yep. L.A.
so that does make things a little challenging. I like capable men. I like capable
Yeah.
men.
That's fair. What I'm hearing is
Yeah,
your dad became kind of the standard or the poster, right? And so,
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
in that
it's
way.
it's great. I mean, I mean, I hope my daughter grows up and she sees qualities in me that she likes, that she wants to find in assuming that she's even attracted to men. That's what that's what she wants. You know, that's great.
So the thing I wanted to say to like wrap up, because I think the base question was like, do you think it affects father to daughter relationships versus father to son relationships? I think it's
Hmm.
a little different. Um, and right now we're talking within like a gender binary, of course. So
Yes.
just that is
Yes.
a footnote. But
Generalizations.
um, I think that we kind of look to, our primary caregivers, especially if they are a model of gender. Um, as like something to, I mean, they teach us like what that is or what that looks like. So I think in this particular case, when his dad died, not only is there this relationship of me and my dad, but it's also he is my first vision and understanding of masculinity. Any kind of
Right.
tension or upset or wrestling that you have with that concept as a man, I think when your father dies, it's just opening this Pandora's box. And I think in so many ways also with death, especially if you're close or not, like the opposite of close. There's this question of like, what have they given me? How do they live on through me? What does
Hmm.
that look like now? So like we're me with my dad, we're building a relationship. I learn about bonding and intimacy. But perhaps if I was a boy, I look to my father and I'm like, this is what it means to be a man or not.
Mm,
So I think it affects it differently. Is that a good answer? I just wanted to
yeah.
not let that like go unspoken.
Yes, I agree. It does affect it differently. Um, Either case, the not that the women figure is not important, but the male figure in a household, because I do believe we live in a fatherless nation, is super important. Kind of positions
Mm-hmm.
you or sets you up as far as whether it's the kind of man you want to be or who you want to date, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Should we take another question? I'm kind of having
Let's
fun.
do okay. Let's do one more question. This
Okay.
one's kind of a fun question. Do you think avoidant attached folks are cat lovers and anxious are dog people?
Oh my
I think
God.
they're asking this because cats tend to be very independent and avoidant. I'm allergic to cats. Dogs are more like they want to sleep on your face, right? They don't want to be away from you. So are cat people like basically they're asking, is your pet a reflection of your attachment style? Which is interesting. I mean, what if you have a snake?
So I'll tell you this right now. I judge you based on your pet's behavior.
I think
So
many
if you
people
have
do.
a shitty, yeah, if you have a shitty pet, I'm judging you and I'm watching. This is not getting past me, so I'll be clear about that.
Can it also be true with children? If you have a child who's throwing shit at you and is not, then you would judge the parents, right?
Ooh, you put me on the spot there with that
Like
question.
like on an
That's,
airplane, a child going crazy or running up and down the aisles and just like can do what roam freely, chocolate on her face. I mean, how can you not judge the parents a little bit? You know?
I mean, I don't know about the chocolate on the face and the roaming freely. I mean, like I come from a big Greek family and I have so much experience in childhood
Mm,
that like, I mean, if we're talking about a plane situation, I'm like, I don't know if this kid's ever been on a plane before. I don't know if they're freaked out. I don't know the
right.
story. Um, so it's hard to make that discernment from
Yes,
like
but
that
pets
amount
are
of
saying are different.
information. I
But
don't
pets are
know. So I
different.
have a cat. Pets, yeah, I have a cat. Pets seem different. You know why? Because I also think that like training training your pet is not about getting them to bend to your will. I think when
Yeah, of
you are
course.
training your pet, it's actually about creating a shared language. So there's
Mm,
like an example is people who send their dogs away to like a training like thing, and then they come back and the owners are like, why don't they respond to the trainer the same way they respond to me? It's because they created the shared language, not you and them. But I just can't help but roll my eyes because I'm like, ugh, all of these Instagram psychologists, all of us read one or two articles on Business Insider about attachment styles, and now we're
yeah.
ready to like diagnose. It makes me a little nauseous. I mean, so like this is, yeah, attachment style is the hot one right now. We had gaslighting for a long time. We had narcissism had a
Narcissism.
heyday. Everyone is a
Yeah.
narcissist.
Yeah.
Everyone is gaslighting me. And I'm like, babe, no, he's just a dude. He's just a regular dude. He told you he wasn't that into you and he's acting like it. That's not gaslighting. You
Right.
telling yourself that's not the truth is gaslighting yourself.
Well,
Um,
we're looking for reasons, and so taking labels and stamping them on people's foreheads make it easier for us
right.
because then it makes sense to us. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that bothers me. But for pets, are your pets a reflection? I think that your relationship with your pets is so intimate. It really is. So I what I love about my cat, all of these things I didn't think I'd talk to you about today. What I love about my cat is that um the way that we like show love for each other is just so interesting. It's so much about understanding, not obviously because she doesn't talk, she doesn't speak, is nonverbal communication. I know,
Mm,
and I don't have
hmm
to question if my cat likes me or loves me because she's always a foot or two away from me. She's like right here, right now. She
hmm
chooses to be here. She chooses to orbit me. And like when I get up and change rooms, she may not come immediately, but eventually she'll just like want to be in it. I call it vicinitizing. Like me and my cat
mm,
vicinitize with each other. And that is absolutely reflected in my friendships and my romantic relationships. I think a lot of people are constantly, I hear this a lot, like grasping for evidence of the fact that they're loved.
hmm
And it's really like, where's your partner? Where's your partner when you look? What do they do? So I read that in my cat, and I can tell when people come over how good they are at reading nonverbal cues because I can tell without even looking like when she's going to want to swat someone, like when she's had enough.
mm.
And she's very flirty, very social, but she also is like she gets overstimulated. So yeah, I can tell. So I can tell when other people are like, wait, what? Like it like surprises them. I'm like, oh, you weren't listening. You weren't like listening to the touch there. And then I've gone to people's houses with dogs, and like if your dog like pants in my face or like constantly licks me, I'm like, how do you do this? How do you live like this all the time? So maybe it's true. I don't know.
I think it's the opposite with what this person's saying, in that I think if you are avoidant with humans, you're going to get your oxytocin, dopamine from animals. For example, my partner tends to swing avoidant. Um, she's more attracted to me if I'm not around for a while. But with animals, she gravitates toward. She could have a dog in her pocket 24. So like, I think they make up for human distance with animals, right? So I don't know. That's just my theory. And then me, who's someone more who leans toward anxious. I'm not like that with animals. I'm like that with people. I could like go under the covers with someone all day, like, and just be
That sounds like
happy.
my hell. That's so funny.
Right. And then, to me, it's like lovey dovey and romantic. And it's like, soup and grilled cheese. Right. And I could just like, let's just make love and not go to work. To many people who are avoidant, that's like being buried in a coffin. So,
That is
um,
100% how I
yeah.
also, I think in terms of like love languages, like it's so funny. My love language, my least one is physical touch, which surprises people because I am such a physical person. And I
Yeah.
think that's why I am so intensely sensitive. It's really I'm quick to feel smothered physically.
Yeah. Yeah.
That definitely is merited people's pets, which is why me and Nava, my cat, vibe so hard. Because like when
Yeah.
she wants to snuggle, we'll snuggle, and then we just go do our own thing.
Hey, but wait, hold on. Listen, you brought up a really good point, which is, I love the nuance of this. If you're single and you're at the park and you're noticing someone and they have a pet, focus on the pet and how the pet responds and reacts, and that may be telling
Yeah.
of the owner, which isn't. I've
Oh,
never even thought about that. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I'm going to scream. Yes, absolutely. That is, yes. It's also like, if this is your pet, that's also a primary relationship in your life.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Like, what shape is your pet in? Why do they look like that? Are they happy? Are they
Right.
relaxed? Like,
Right.
are they well cared for? Like, I need to know
Sure.
how you love. So, yeah.
Tanya, thank you so much for being on my podcast. I was going to end with us hawking loogies, but we might lose a few listeners. So why don't we end with this? Why don't we end with this generic question? But I love it so much. Dead or alive, you could have dinner with anyone. Who would it be?
Oh, oh, God, I don't know. Instantly, I just forgot the names of everyone and anyone I've ever met, ever. Dead or alive, dinner with anyone.
So
I don't have
I
an answer.
think it
I'm so
depends
sorry.
on where you're at in your life, because I think younger people would go toward like someone attractive or that they think is hot, right? And then as you get older, you're like, I'm not going to fuck this person. I'm just going to have a conversation. So
Yeah.
I'm actually interested in a meaningful conversation. Or
Yeah.
if it's like it depends on what you want what you want out of the exchange. And maybe I shouldn't judge younger people, or maybe I should just say me. So when I was younger, yeah, it would be like, who do I think is hot? And but now that I'm 50, I actually now I'm thinking about like Anthony Bourdain, or people who are more cultured or been around, or they have more wisdom. So the conversation is going to be really interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, immediately it would be, I would want to speak with someone who could give me insight into a time, an activity, or a critical room that they were in that really defined their life or career, that I would able to like share something with me that I wouldn't know. I don't have a name or a person right now, but that's so funny. I didn't even think about it being a romantic dinner at all. I was like, immediately I was like, I
Right.
would have a lot of questions. I'd probably have note cards. I am a prepared lady. This whole format is throwing my type A nature for a loop. But I don't have a name right now. I'm sorry, I can't answer your ending question.
And I think usually if it's someone that you have a crush on, like a celebrity, having a conversation with them in person will lessen that crush. You will realize that they
You
are
know,
just human.
it's really interesting. Yeah, again, live in LA. I've run into quite a few
Yeah.
like actors and celebrities out here, and it's a really interesting experience because your brain does this thing where your brain recognizes their face, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, do I know? And then it's like a second because they look so different in person without all of the
Yeah.
lighting and the camera panning and everything. And like, these are just people. They're just people. They're just people like us. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of probably like major. So, I don't know. I'll have to email you the answer.
Email me the answer to that with the video of you fire dancing, please.
I will. And then, photos from my sandboarding adventure.
Yes,
There's no
proof that
photos,
you
it didn't
actually, in
happen.
fact, can sandboard, and that's not, that's not a myth. Well, Tanya, thank you so much for being on this episode, and it was really fun. And I'm going to have you back again.
Okay, thanks so much. This
All
was a
right,
blast.
everyone, be well.